So I just thought that at the end of this, I'd teach you guys a couple of tricks that I've learned from my year or so of cubing. And so first thing you want to know is that messing around with the cube, just practicing 3 to 5 solves a day, probably more would be better, but even 3 to 5 solves a day, you'll start learning some little tips and tricks and shortcuts. Like example, so you have this, you have this corner here, or even this corner and edge, depending whatever, doesn't matter. You and I have it like this. Instead of turning the cube and then inserting it, which would be slow, you can do what's called the sledgehammer move, which would be on the left-hand side. If you're going to insert it here, on the left-hand side, you do F prime, L, F, L prime. And if you're going to, how am I doing this here? So on the right-hand side, it'd be F, R prime, F prime, R. And that does it either way. Something else, there are some other algorithms that can solve the boomerang and the dot faster. And if you want to learn those, I'd say wait a little bit. But if you really, really badly want to learn them, go for it. It doesn't change too much. The other thing is color neutrality. Lots of cubers like Felix Zemdegs, Mats Volk, lots of those famous speed cubers that get world records are what's called color neutral. And most people start off just by solving, oh, you must always solve white, or you must always solve red, or always solve yellow first, or whatever. And it's wrong. Because I started off like that. I started off doing white all the time. Every single time I did white. And then now that I'm averaging 30 seconds, and I'm like, well, what if I tried it doing yellow? And I tried it yellow and I was super slow. I got like, what was it, like 50 some seconds. So it took me 5 weeks to become color neutral. And that's because I had to break through, tell my brain that it's okay to solve on other colors. So learning to solve, instead of doing white, I'm just going to, while I'm talking now, I'm just going to solve green. So learning to solve doing other colors can be quite useful. I'm going to do some advanced stuff, so don't worry about that I'm doing it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make it easy for you guys. I'll just show you easy stuff. But learning to do it beginner's method, or learning to do it on any color, is really good practice, because as you start getting faster, your brain has learned this much more, and then when you get super fast and suddenly want to become color neutral, you have to teach your brain that it's okay to solve on it's okay to change a little bit, but your brain doesn't want to. Your brain just wants to be lazy and doesn't want to learn. I know this because it took me 5 weeks, 5 intense weeks of not solving on white. A week of each color, and it wasn't very fun. That was an advanced, don't worry about it. But, yeah, so doing it on any side is really good to learn. And it helps a lot. So that's all my tips. If you have any questions, like I said before, leave them down in the comments.